So when you're a young footballer, you're going to be constantly told about what your best attributes are, what professional footballer you play like, and where you rank in your pecking order in terms of maybe your school football team or your local football team. This will inevitably form your football identity, which is basically your idea of what type of player you are in your own head. This in itself is okay as it builds your foundation, it shows you your foundations, what you're naturally good at and what you're naturally bad at, you understand? It's fine, it's a good thing. However, holding on to this identity, your first football identity when you're young, could ultimately hold you back. So today I'm going to be teaching you the importance of evolving as a footballer. Now, the first problem with holding on to this football identity that you were given at a young age is that it holds you back from improving your game. So, for example, me personally, when I was young, my sort of archetype was sort of, the fat DM. I'm pretty sure we've all heard about, the fat DM. The guy who's, technically he can pass, he can shoot, he's just technically secure, he can do pretty much everything on the ball, but I just couldn't move. I couldn't move to, run to make challenges. I was just sort of, the deep line playmaker who just played balls, had a good first touch, controlled the game, but I just couldn't move to save my life. And the problem with this was that I literally just thought in my head, oh, this is who I'm always going to be. There's no way I can improve my pace. There's no way I can improve my dribbling or my ball winning ability. This is just who I am, you understand? That was the main problem with me, which led to me being lazy and making excuses. Led to me having this mentality of, it doesn't matter, I can't work on my game. It doesn't matter. I am what I am and I just have to work with what I am, you understand? However, when I hit like 14, 15 and I finally decided to try and improve my game, the whole aspect in my mind, it changed, you understand? My whole perspective just shifted and it was like, okay, I can actually improve as a player, My identity ended up changing as well. I ended up looking at myself as, I do have pace, what I'm saying? I could get around the pitch, I can be a ball winner, I can carry the ball, I can dribble past people, you understand? All of those aspects of my game improved, and whilst they improved, my identity changed. It changed for the better as well, you understand? It's not like it changed for the worse, it changed for the better. It just made me see myself as an even better player. It even allowed me to be able to play fullback, you understand, which obviously increases my versatility. You can never be too versatile, you understand. If you can play multiple positions at a high level, that's ultimately a good thing because you can fit in multiple systems, you can play for multiple teams. Because back then, maybe like five years ago, there's no way I could play fullback. I would get cooked by every single winger, you understand, simply because I was overweight and I could not move at all. But nowadays, that's not the case. So my point is that even if you're known as sort of like, let's say you're known as a winger right now, you're known as a winger, you're known as a dribbler, you understand? It's okay to adapt your game. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He was, step overs, blah, 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 going down the wing, and then he evolved his game, you understand? Slightly just moved inside, and he ended up being a goal-scoring winger, you understand? Simply because he was aging, number one, and then obviously I'm pretty sure he got a knee injury, so he had to sort of change his game, stop the dribbling, and be more efficient in terms of scoring goals. So don't be afraid to, even if you've been told that you're a great dribbler, you play like, I don't know, you play like Vinicius, or you play like Doku, or whoever it is, you play like Yamal, whoever it is, don't be afraid to, change that. Don't be so fixated on, alright, cool, I need to always play like this, I can't change my game. This is who people know me as, this is who people like me as a player. It's like, nah, you need to evolve because like the old saying goes, if you don't adapt, then you end up perishing. So don't just stick to what you're good at as a player. Literally, be open to just evolving as a player. Be open to improving your game, working on your weaknesses. Like I said in my example, I never worked on my pace at all. I never tried to be a better dribbler. And I never tried to be a better ball winner. However, when I actually did these things, put in the work, my identity as a footballer shifted for the better. I saw myself as an even better player than I saw myself as before, and my game ultimately improved. And like I said, I'm able to play multiple positions on the football pitch. I got the basic fundamentals locked down. I'm a better ball winner and I can carry the ball way better through midfield. So don't stick to that first identity you were given as a footballer because it's ultimately going to hold you back from growing as a player. One weakness that many footballers have is improving their weak foot. For some reason, a lot of players I've spoken to just can't seem to figure out how to improve their weak foot, whether they're right-footed or left-footed. But luckily for you, I've made a course on how to improve your weak foot. This course is currently in the works. In this course, I'm going to be showing you drills. I'm going to be teaching you how to get better at, different aspects of the game in terms of your weak foot. So passing, your shooting, your dribbling. And I'll be teaching you stuff outside of the pitch that can actually help your weak foot as well, Things that no other football YouTuber is talking about. So if you're interested, if you want to improve your weak foot, click the first link in the description. Get the course and trust me, you won't regret it. Your weak foot will 100% improve. this also applies to your position as well. If you've played a specific position all your life, let's say you get to like 14, 15 years old, and a coach recommends that you play a different position, that he thinks that this position is good for you, yo, go into it with a positive mindset, you understand? Don't go into it, you know, sulking with a negative mindset, saying, oh, with your head down, thinking, oh, why am I even here? Like, this isn't my game, this isn't my position, blah, blah, blah. Don't go into it like that. Maybe the coach is right, you understand? I know that you probably know your own game better than the coach, but just ask yourself that question. What about if the coach is right? Actually go in, you know, give 100% and just see what happens. Don't go in there with a negative mentality, because that change of position could ultimately lead to, you know, making it as a footballer. You just never know. Like, let's take Joe Linton, for example, Newcastle. You know Joe Linton from Newcastle. Do you remember when they signed this guy as a striker? He wore the number 9 for Newcastle. They signed him as a striker, and he was basically a meme at the time. I remember it was like the COVID season he joined them, and I remember on TikTok it was just so many memes about Joe Linton missing chances, not being good, people calling him shit, doing all of this. And then what happened? New manager came in, Eddie Howe came in, took the number 9 off him. I think he wears the number 7 now. Dropped him back into centre midfield, and now look at him in centre midfield. He's an absolute battering ram. You know what I'm saying? Scoring goals from midfield, dominating with his physicality. You know, winning challenges, getting up and down the pitch. You know, making a great midfield trio with Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. And now people look at him as like a good player. You understand? People look at him as like a top midfielder in the Prem, or if not top midfielder, definitely the tier below top midfielder, you understand? So it's literally just a case of like, yo, maybe you're decent at a certain position, or you thought you were decent at a certain position, but just go into your new position with a positive mentality, because like I said, it could be the making of you. Reece James used to be a striker in the academy. They dropped him back to right back, and now when he's fit, he's known as one of the best fullbacks in the league, you understand? So it's just a case of, yo, go into your new position with a positive mentality, and like I said before, don't be afraid to evolve. Don't be afraid to either work on attributes that you weren't good at before. Hey, if you were never a great dribbler, you can become a great dribbler. You can become a great shooter. You can become a great passer. You can become a great defender. You know what I'm saying? You can just work on your game. You can evolve your game, and then position as well. If you're a CDM and you drop back into centre back, yo, embrace that. Maybe you'll be better. You're better at centre back. If you're a left winger and they say, yo, come drop back into left back, then yo, maybe you're actually a good left back, because you know what I'm saying, you can actually defend one-on-one, and you can get up and down that pitch. You can create overloads. You know, you can either overlap or underlap, and you can get forward. You have the energy to get up and down. Maybe the coach has seen that in you, and he's like, yo, yeah, maybe you're not a winger, maybe because you don't, let's say your shooting isn't there, you don't score enough, you don't produce enough goals, you don't produce enough attacking wise, but he's seen in training, alright, cool, this guy can actually defend one-on-one, he's got pace, and he's got an engine on him, so he can, like I said, he can join attacks, and even when he joins attacks, he won't get caught out of position because he knows when to drop back, and he's got the engine to drop back as well, you understand? So don't always, like I said, don't be afraid to evolve as a footballer. Think about it. If you refuse these things, if you refuse to, you know, work on your weaknesses or change position, you're potentially denying yourself an opportunity at playing at a higher level. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if maybe at left wing you're just a decent left winger, like you're an okay left winger, but if you were to drop to a fullback, maybe you'll be good enough to a point where maybe some scouts come watch you. Sorry, coaches at a high level to come watch you. You know, academy scouts come watch you, and they're like, yo, this guy, we can actually use him as a fullback, you understand? Maybe they come and pick you up. But if you refused and you said to yourself, oh, you were stubborn, and you said, no, I need to play winger. If I'm not a winger, I don't want to play, then you could miss that opportunity where the coaches would have liked you at fullback, you understand? So like I said, don't be afraid to change as a player, evolve as a player. But that's the video for today. Leave me suggestions on what other video you want to see. Hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.